big coming up today for our students. And we're in summer school, and some people have been asking, how do they engage students? And we know we have this conversation, right? We have this conversation. Is AI good for students? Is AI not good for students? Is ChatGPT gonna make students lazy and all that? So this, I'm going to be giving you professional advice. I'm going to be giving you professional advice today on how to best engage students with this AI tool. Whether you call them LLM, large language model, or GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers, and all that. So we're going to be seeing what is appropriate for our students and what will actually make them want to do more with it, right? And I'll ask some questions, and if you are online, just quickly put in your responses. So welcome to the Amashedu Jude, your host for the learning content creator, and today we're looking at engaging learners or students with generative AI tools, right? So online, I'll give a shout out to Aramide Shitu, Adebayo Gunle. Thank you for watching. And if you're just coming up, you can say give a shout out, right? So first and foremost, what we should know is these. It started November last year, right? When we started hearing GPTs, or prior to that, well, some of my training in the past 1 year or so, I've been talking about AI. I've been training on AI on different segments, maybe for exam questions, creating exam questions, automating exam questions, or images, creating images, or draw and transform and all that. So I've been talking about it, but now everything is well packaged. Since we're in this era of AI, everything is now packaged. So all those things I've been talking about in bits and pieces everywhere, now package it as the GPTs and as the image generators and all that. So first thing and foremost, we should know that before I'll share my slides, students, I'll share my slides. So first thing you should know, right? We have different generative AI. Generative means it generates an AI that can generate text, an AI that can generate videos, an AI that can generate animation, an AI that can generate videos, images, and all that, and sound, right? So if you look at all of them, from my professional experience with teachers and with AI and with all these tools, right? Because we've had issues where universities say students should not use ChatGPT and all that, which I agree with to some certain extent. And even we have primary school teachers who think it's not cool. They have, because students need to have developed their reasoning faculty before they even start using the text to generative text, meaning like your chat GPT, where you type in a prompt text and it gives you responses, right? So because now we are having, compared to previously, we are having search engines like Google Search, Yahoo Search, Bing Search. Now we are having reasoning engines, which are the GPTs. They are called reasoning. They can reason things out, right? So this is where we are coming into. So for my professional advice, straight up, ChatGPT might not be appropriate for students at an early age, right? But look at it. We have generative AI for text, one for text, for images, two for images, for videos, three for videos, for animation, four for animation, and five for sound. And we are focused on only text, right? Why will you? And when we have videos, when we have images that children can work with, as early as even grade one, they can work with those tools, right? So why will you be struggling with just chat GPT text to homework or text to assignment? That is not the most important thing in this era of our generative AI, right? For generative AI, I feel is good for professionals, for teachers to actually be able to create excellent documents or get ideas on how to manage certain things that are difficult in their classes or their classroom. So no, it's for text to uh, assignment or text to homework, because our students don't know, uh, they don't understand it, and most of the students that have even been given opportunity to use it, they just use it for homework and they throw it away. They don't use it for anything, which is a lame way of even using it. For teachers, we see the advantages of GPTs. You can create lesson plan, you can create activities, you can create tasks, you can create email schedule, letters for your parents and all that, and you see the professional use of it. But your students, if you give them chat GPT, what they do with it is homework and throw it away. That is it. It doesn't, any other thing does not mean to them, which is a lame use of it, which, if you agree with me, it's a big uh setback if you teach a child to use chat GPT and it's just homework. And most of others who believe that they can use it for English assignment or for, it's true, it's still far. It depends on the child. Most of those students would have been really deep into self-learning, right, before they can even start advancing in trying to use ChatGPT for English comprehension or summary and all that. They would have been self learners, or they would have been learning by themselves before you can even introduce it to that point. So what we should look at, Mr. Israel Demola, thank you for joining the webinar. Sida Edda, thank you for joining the webinar. So that is to say ChatGPT is not for students. It's not. It doesn't have an advantage of our students using it. Now we'll now look at the other aspect of the generative AIs that has an advantage. You can see you generate text to images automatically. It brings creativity into the question, into the classroom. And a child that cannot draw, a child that cannot even make a video, but can type in good prompts and get an fantastic image, which will wow everybody. He can make a video or make a movie or make an ad from text to videos. He can make an animation from text to 3D animation or 3D scenes. He can make songs or make sounds, because even now it's questionable why artists are going to be affected, because now AI can create sound. So if our students can create music with just text to sound? So you see, it has very detailed advantages in those areas of creativity where you have visuals, right? Because we're talking about teaching children to be visual, or trying to visualize learning for students. This is the time to start doing that, to start visualizing their learning with AI. So going Holiday Gideon, thank you for joining the webinar. So going with that, I will share my slides. AI are platforms that allow our students generate text, not just students, teachers, to generate text, images, videos, sound, and also animation. Right? Generative AI allows students to create visual content from text without needing to have artistic skills. Let us explore how this technology can be used to enhance visual learning in our classroom. Right? So let's look at the definition of these AI models, which can learn how to create new content by analyzing existing data. Now, these data have been trained, right? They have an algorithm that trains the AI to recognize images. You can recognize or distinguish a dog from a cat, a human from a car, and all that. So you have millions of images that have been trained, right? You have millions of texts that have been trained. That's why you have your GPTs. You have millions of videos that have been trained to recognize different patterns in video. You have millions of sound that have been trained to recognize different sound. So you can tell the GPT to give you a dog sound, and it will give you a dog sound, not a cat sound or a car sound, right? Welcome, Mr. Joel. So generative multimedia uses these models to create new content such as images and videos based on a user's text prompt. So let's look at visual learning. Generative AI can improve visual learning by allowing students to visualize text prompt for visual audiovisual content creation, right? Stimulating their creativity. It allows what students to visualize their text. So you have students typing a text, right? A prompt on the GPTs, right? Maybe text to image. And the child or the student types a particular kind of text. And what happens? It gives them a certain result and they're excited, and you tell them you can actually improve this result by what? Typing this other kind of typing the text like this. So they understand how text can become meaningful in images. They can understand, your students can understand how text can become a different kind of video, or give them several kinds of video by just typing different types of text. So it's important, very, very important. So stimulating their creativity and making their learning more immersive experience, right? Like I told you before, the power of prompt is what you are teaching your students when they are working with generative multimedia AI. You're teaching them the power of prompts. Now the prompt is not focused on text to generative text where they just type in text and get assignment homework done. No, they are using it to generate images, videos, sound, animation, and these are visual forms of learning, and these are visual, more concrete forms of learning. So out of those five, you have, people have been talking about ChatGPT, whether it's appropriate for students. Now I'm telling you it's not appropriate for students to use ChatGPT. You as a teacher, you can use it, but for students is of no meaningful or long-term use, because they use it for homework and that's it. They don't use it for research. They don't use it for any other thing. They just think I can generate my homework once I'm given an assignment and that's it. But once you give them something like text to images, automatically you see them being creative. They will spend longer time trying to outdo or understand the system by typing their prompt and seeing the result as images, as videos, as animation, and as audio or music, right? They can generate music by just typing text, and it gives them that curiosity to want to use it more and want to even research on it by themselves without you teaching them, as an educator, without you teaching them. So we look at potentials for learners. Generative AI also has the potential to revolutionize the fields of design. So we're going to be having students who might not know how to design with their hands, but they can design with these AI tools. They might not know how to draw, but they can actually create an image that is far, 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 far more enticing than just an artist. I'm not saying art will be wiped away, but like we had people using typewriter at a time, and people were writing letters, then they started typing. So this is the transition we are seeing. Artists will still remain relevant, but we're now going to be having more of graphical designers, more of graphical artists, more of graphical illustrators when they start using these generative AI tools. So they can make music, 3D animation, providing a new level of creativity and innovation for our students' future readiness. So these are the future. You've heard that prompt engineering is now a thing, it's now a job description, and people are getting paid hundreds of thousands to just work as a prompt engineer. So this is what you're preparing our children for, to become better prompt engineers, even if everybody, all of them are not going to be all prompt engineers, but in every field they find themselves that they are using this AI, they can actually write better prompts when they understand from early age how to even use it and visualize whatever they're typing. So let's look at benefits of generative multimedia AI tools for students' learning development. I have about 9, but I'll run through it so that we have a lot of practice to do. We have a lot of practice to do. Okay, number one, accelerated learning, accelerated content creation. Students can rapidly generate custom visuals, right? Videos, audio, and 3D scenes to enhance project and study materials, and it saves them time. So those students that might not even know how to use a camera phone or use a camera, but they want to, they can now start having this platform to generate graphics and videos that don't require them to use a camera, right? Number two, improved engagement, right? Because they are going to be once you give a child any of these, maybe DAL-E or Adobe Firefly to start working with, you see them they don't want to leave it. They don't want to leave that place. Then you can start creating a lesson plan around that task or around that practice, where you tell them what is the best prompt to create this kind of image, and your child or your student quickly goes online and type a prompt and say, okay, this is the best prompt to give this kind of image, and this is why. So you're actually training them how to become better prompt engineers. So the interactive multimedia content, that's for improved engagement with your students. Interactive multimedia content produced can increase student engagement and motivation during lessons, and it also supports their learning. Mr. Ohiri, thank you for joining the webinar. Welcome to our platform. Okay, easy customization. Student can instantly tailor output to specific topics by adjusting text prompts, right? They can instantly tailor the output. They understand how prompts work once they can see it as an image, once they can see a prompt as a text that is transformed into a video. You understand visually that, oh, this is how prompt can be transformed from just mere text to images. So they understand how to write better prompts and easy customize their prompt. So visual thinking development for our students. Creating visual content encourages visual thinking, creativity, and visual literacy skills. Build spatial abilities. Deep learning, exploring concepts through different medias like image, video, and 3D models can deepen understanding, boost retention. Like I was listening to one of our educators that fell in love with this tool, this text to images. So he was making a comment that even when he sleeps, that's Mr. Tom. I don't know if he's online. Maybe he's not online. Okay. Even when he sleeps, he sees himself generating images and typing prompts and thinking about the best prompt that will give him a better images. Right? So we have such scenario for students that are thinking what is best prompt to generate certain kinds of images to complete the assignment, or even to it becomes their own work to copyright their work. Collaboration too. Students can use output as creative assets when collaborating on group projects and assignments, right? So they can collaborate with these tools and see how they can combine different prompts, right, to make better images, videos, animation, and sound. Future ready skills. Practicing with generative AI, right, develops technological literacy and experience with emerging tools. So they are up on their game when they know how to use this AI our students become up on their game. They understand when you say GPTs, they know what it means and they know how to use it. They know how to generate good prompts. And engagement for all, right? The accessibility allows students of all ability to engage with creating visual media, promotes inclusion. So every child is included. A child that is that has auditory learning style will start working well with text to sound, right? Generating digital sound. A child that is a visual learner will start working with text to image. A child that is also a kinesthetic learner that wants to use to feel what they are using, have access to the computer to start generating videos and all those multimedia files. So that's the benefit of generative multimedia tools for students learning development. So let's go to the crux. So look at text to image. Like I told you, I'm not doing generative text here where we do text to homework or text to assignment, because that is, for the most part, is not helpful for students. Students will not use it the way they are supposed to use it. They just use it for assignment or homework, and that is not the idea. It's for research, right? And if you can't force a child to start researching because they don't know the use of those texts to generative text. They don't know the use, so they just use it for assignment and dump it. But when you give them text to image, they start researching by themselves. By default, they start getting interested in that tool you are introducing to them. So how does it work? Generative AI can take written text and create corresponding image, right? This technology uses machine learning techniques to analyze relationship between words and images. Like I told you, they have been trained by the AI engineers. So you have examples. Use generative AI to create illustration for books. So a child can write a book and create their own image rather than going to Google and looking for images. They can actually create their own images for their books and educational material. Students can also generate their own images to illustrate their ideas. It comes in handy when you tell them to tell them to write creative writing assignments, right? They start adding images to their what text. When they write a story, they put an image to it. When they can start creating illustration books, they can start creating what storyboards with this generative text, which would have been very impossible if they start looking for images on Google or YouTube or other image websites. So they can illustrate their ideas and enhance their presentation. Okay, so we look at the terminology. So at this point, one key thing most people don't understand is for text to images, most of the terms they use there are photography terms. That is what most people don't know. You might type in, okay, let me give you an example. Most of the terminology in photography that are important to understand, right, include image resolution, shot, angle, computer language, etc. Now, if you are going to perfect your text to image, you have to go and start learning some terms used in photography. And that makes it important for your image to come out in a different style. I'll give you an example. Shot quickly. This is Adobe Firefly, right? So we're going to be learning with Adobe Firefly, right? So I'll just quickly enter some text. Teddy bear on the moon. That's the text prompt. This is text to image, right? So let's see how changing the term by imputing some photography terms or photography terminology becomes important in text to image AI creation using the AI tools. Welcome, Mr. Tom. Welcome, Mr. Tom Samuel. I see you're doing a great job in your text to images. So we're trying to introduce it to our students. Welcome, Mr. Tom Samuel. Okay, quickly. So this is just a simple text, a teddy bear on the moon. Let's see what it gives us and compare when we add photography term to this text prompt. Quickly. Okay, let me just remove the arts. Okay, so this is a simple text prompt, a teddy bear on the moon, right? Simple text prompt, no photography terminology, no photography words on it. So let's still generate these same images using photography terminology. I've already copied it. I'll just paste it. So this is a mesmerizing cinematic shot featuring a teddy bear perched on the moon surface, capturing the enchanting magic of childhood dreams. High definition visual with intricate details and vibrant colors. Let's generate it and see the difference between both images generated by plain text and by using photography terms or terminology. So it means students understanding text to images means they start understanding registers of different professions. So they start understanding what photography terminology means. So you see, you are taking your children from just learning to type normal text to entering into an industrial standard use of words or use of certain terms to generate their AI images. Quickly. So, okay. So you see the images are different. This image is far superior than the other bland image of a teddy bear on the moon. So because we have added photography terminology, it gives us a photography kind of shot which becomes more professional. So you see, it's much more superior than just typing a teddy bear in the moon. So this automatically shows you that the power of prompts, or the power of how you understand prompts, will give you an advantage in creating the best images, which is the idea for teaching our students these terms. Okay, so let's look at platforms for text to image. We have Adobe Firefly, which I just used. We have DAL-E, we have Stable Diffusion, we have Bing AI Creator, we have Generation 2, the Runway ML Generation 2, we have the Microsoft Designer. But for this practice, we're going to be focusing on Adobe Firefly, which we just used. So let's look at this input, right? So this is an example of when I'm saying a student who understand how to input a good prompt automatically have an image of the kind of image he or she wants to generate, right? So let's look at this input: a robot playing soccer with shallow depth of field. You see this term, shallow depth of field, is a photography term. So, right, shallow depth of field means what? The output will look like this. When we tell a child, or a child knows what a shallow depth of field means, which most adults don't even know because they're not photographers, right? So the output looks like this: AI generated image with a blurry background, right? Simulated what? Depth of field. Simulated depth of field. So it gives your prompt that power to generate images that looks like real photos, that look like real pictures, right? So let's move on to okay, let's move on to photography term input prompt. So look at some prompts that are accurate for photography, right? So in photography, you hear something like image resolution. It's also applied to what? Text to image prompts. Image resolution: a close-up portrait of a sad woman in a high resolution black and white photorealistic style. So this is a new idea, that you are not just typing prompts, but you are putting professional terms of photography in your prompts, not just typing text, image of a car and house and all that, but you are putting professional terms in your prompt to make your image superior. So you have shots, you have terminology like shots, you have terminology like angles and colors, you have terminology like what? Lightning and portrait of a famous actor and jump. So you can type in a prompt and put lightning and put the kind of lightning style you want. You have color, you can add the kind of color you want. Composition, still life, subject, background, you can decide the kind of background you want. Framing, depth of field. So that is okay. I'll go back to it. So I'll take it to the prompt, last prompt, right? Let's see how this works. I'll quickly copy this prompt. Okay. I'll quickly copy this prompt and take it to Adobe Firefly. Okay, copy. Quickly. Okay. So look at a robot playing soccer with shallow depth of field, right? If you type a robot playing soccer, let's see what it looks like. A robot playing soccer, that's just a plain prompt without any photography term, as we call it. And look, okay, Mr. Ohiri say, please activate this share button. The group is private. That is it. Our group, the learning content creator group, is private, Mr. Ohiri. So that's why you might not be able to share our content outside the group. It's not public, it's a private group. So quickly, let's see. Good. So this is a what? Robots playing football. A plain image of a robot playing football. Let's use the photography term: a robot playing soccer with shallow depth of field. Let's see what it looks like. Quickly. So using this terminology makes your work more superior, makes your work more engaging, and makes your work more interesting, right? It's just plain or bland. It's going to be more interesting when you start using photography terms which are professional in your prompt making. And this also applies to your student. It means your student indirectly is learning to use photography registers even without using a camera. They already know how to use this registered writing prompt. So imagine they start using the camera automatically. They're not going to be cramming this term or knowing, thinking, what does it look like? They already have seen what it looks like and automatically they're applying it to their learning. So you see, it's a different ball game entirely. The photos look more interesting with this terminology. You can see it's neat, it's clean, and it gives you a better view and a better message than just typing the text. So this is the text with the photography terminology. So quickly we'll go to okay. Let's play a little bit with Adobe Firefly to see what it contains and see. Now, if you look at the right side of Adobe Firefly, right? Once you type in your prompt and get your image, you see the framing of this. Is the framing I'm talking about. Now, automatically, some text to image will give you these tools, these photography terms as buttons you can just click. While some they expect you to do it by yourself, but the better you understand it, is easier for you to understand how these tools work. The aspect ratio, you have landscape, portrait, square, image. Then you have content type, right? None, photo. You want it to be a photo, a graphic, or art, right? These are terms. And once you select any of them, if I want this image to be a photo and I select it, automatically on your Adobe Firefly, it gives me this style. It appends the style to the prompt. It appends the word style to the prompt. Normally you would have typed the prompt, but now because it's giving me the prompt as a button, it appends it to the prompt. You can see it here below. Right now, you see the image. I make it a realistic photo, and it gives me something interesting. Now, you look at the styles. The styles actually talks about the different photography terms we've just concluded, right? So you might not need to be typing the terms when you're using Adobe Firefly because they are already added as a button for you. So you have steampunk, synthwave, science fiction, psychedelic, pop art. You have the movements, the photography movements. You have the themes, photography themes, concept art, pixel art. You have the techniques, photography techniques. You have the effects, bokeh, materials. You have the materials. You have the concepts, and you have the color tone, the lighting. So these are photography terms that have been translated into button. For those of you using stable diffusion, you will not see it like this. For those of you using DAL-E, you will not see it like this. We're just lucky because Adobe also are interested in these AI tools. You not see, even for those using Mid Journey, you have to type in realistic photo of an 80s, blah 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 blah. Blah. You have to type it all out as a prompt. But because you're using Adobe Firefly website, automatically it gives you as a button which you can just click. So this gives you different realistic images by just using the word photography term. Okay. So let's look at, okay, we've talked about photography terminology. Okay. The next one is text to video. Text to video, how does it work? How does text to video work? Okay, text to video, how does it work? With generative AI, student can turn written text into video content. The technology combines pre-existing visuals such as stock footage with generative text to create a cohesive storyline, right? Examples: we have students can use text to create video technology to create their own what educational videos. They can tell stories with these videos. They can just type in their like big story. You can type in a story, copy and paste it as your text, and it will generate images from it. I'll show you how that works. So like book reviews and historical summaries. So terminology, some important terminology in videography include short type, scene, lighting. Photography and videography have similar terminologies. Color, composition, because you are using the same camera, right? So most of the camera you use, the settings on photography also somehow applies to videography in one way or the other. Narrative editing, camera angles, camera movement, stylistic choice. Understanding this concept can help your student create more dynamic, effective video content, right? So understanding, so like photography terminology applies to your prompts, right? When you are creating text to image, videography terminologies also applies to your what videos when you are creating a video prompt. Okay, so videography terminology applies to videos when you're creating your video what prompt. Okay, so let's 1 minute. Okay, so look at the platform from text to video. We have After Effects, Adobe After Effects. They have attached the Firefly plugin to it. We have Picture AI, we have Synthesia, we have Runway Gen. So we're going to be looking at some of them. So input a video explaining photosynthesis with kinetic typography and upbeat music. The output will look like this: a generated video with animated text and background music. Like you see, adding this videography terminology makes it more interesting to generate realistic and attractive videos. So I'll just copy this and we'll take it to one of our text to video. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Uh okay, we have Runway ML, right? Runway ML generation 2. Runway ML generation 2 is a text to what video platform. So we have what video to video generation, then we have AI training, then we have video to video, text image to what video. You can also what remove background on this platform. So let's look at the Gen 2 Runway ML. Okay, let's keep that. We'll go to the text, click on the text, and you just type in this, right? A video explaining photosynthesis with kinetic typography and upbeat music. So we'll just generate. Let's see what the video will look like. Okay, it's skewed. So it might take a little bit time to generate depending on your internet speed. Okay. Okay, while it's running, we'll go back to our slideshow and look at what videography terminology input prompt. We'll come back to the website. So short type, the video short type, that is one of the term when they tell you shoot, take this shot. Take this shot. What kind of shot? Is it area shot? Is it close-up shot? Is it long shot? Is it medium shot? So these are terms that you see in videography or you hear in videography. Scene, we talk about scene, a music video with a new song by your favorite band shot in a variety of locations. So that's a scene, an environment. Lighting talks about the position or the angle of each the light coming to the subject or the object. Color simply means see some colors are more pronounced than the other. Some videos you might watch might just be red all through, or some might just be black and white. So these are color color terminologies. Then you have composition, right? You have what? Action. You want to decide the action that will be in the video. You have narrative of your video. You have editing. So you see your children or your students have actually started understanding the videography registers even before carrying a camera, even before tweaking or using the manual function of a camera. They already understand these registers and they are making use of it with the AI too. So that comes in handy when they start using cameras. Okay, let's go back to our video. Okay, so that's this text prompt, a video explaining photosynthesis with kinetic typography and upbeat music. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So it's trying to, you can see the plant here showing photosynthesis, meaning light ray or sunlight coming to the what? To the plant. So it actually generated this text prompt. We can make it better by even retyping and checking it to see what different kind of images it brings out. And that is useful for your students, and that has helped them understand the videography prompts. Because one thing you should know, that the prompts that works for text to text or generative text might not work the same way for generative images, for generative videos, for generative sound, right? Because the difference will now be the terminology in each of these genre: photography, videography, sound, and 3D images, right? So automatically those prompts are peculiar to the kind of work you want to generate. So if you type the same prompt in text to generative text, it will give you something lousy. It might not give you any good result. You can see that different prompts depending on the kind of multimedia file you want to generate. Okay. Quickly, we go to text to audio. Text to audio. Now, how does it work? Generative AI can also transcribe written text into spoken audio. We have that. We are used to text to audio. You can see it in CapCut Video Editor, where it transcribes the text and even make it a subtitle on the video. Can also generate synthesized speech or leverage pre-recorded audio to provide engaging audio content. So we have examples. Students can create their own podcast, audio books with this text to audio, and speeches using text to audio technology. They can also use this technology to add audio elements to their visual project, like video, presentation, slide decks, and all that. So you look at the terminologies. Some key terminologies in audio: you have equalization, compression, mixing, right? These are terminologies. So if you are going to create a good text to audio, text to sound, you need to understand the audio, or you need to understand the professional terminologies they use in sound making or sound generation, or in music studios. You need to understand the terms they use there. So understanding this concept can help students create high quality audio content that sounds professional, right? So let's look at uh, this, a platform. Sorry. Okay. Platform for text to audio. Natural Reader. Natural Reader. Okay. Voice Mode. Sound Draw. Iva AI. Beatbot. Meta Music Generation AI. So let's look at a prompt for text, from text to audio. A cheerful Afrobeat song with acoustic guitar. The output will sound like this. Since it's sound, it will sound like this. An AI generated Afrobeat with guitar background. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. So there's a website we're going to use for this. Is going to be Meta Music Generation AI. Meta Music Generation AI. That's what we're using for text to audio. Quickly. Uh, okay. Okay. So this is the music generation platform from text to audio, or text to music, or text to sound, right? So you type in your text here. You can see other prompts here. You can see other prompts here. An 80s driving pop song with heavy drum beat and sync pack. So you see this prompt is tailored for what? Music. It's tailored for music making or music sound, right? So it's different from the text the kind of prompt you expect when you are generating just text, from maybe from text to lesson plan, or from text to email, to generate email, certain kind of email. So let's see what that looks like. My sound, I've created a cheerful Afrobeat song with acoustic guitar. So once you type in it there, you click generate here. So it's going to take time to generate it here. So while it's doing that, let's back to our slide and look at the prompts or the tunes for what? Sound note stems for input prompts, right? Sound note stems that you can use for as prompt. Speech rate, you can decide the speech rate by when you are typing in your prompt. You can decide, tell it to what? A speech rate is a narration for a documentary about what? History of a city spoken at a slow and deliberate pace. Pitch, song. What is pitch? So you can see the definition there. I will not go through the definitions, but these are sound or audio terms or studio terms, sound studio terms. Volume, timbre, dynamics, tempo, rhythm, instrumentation. So these are what? Terminologies used for sound making. Let's go. Stop. Let's see. Okay, it's still loading. It's still loading. It's still loading. So this website, I'll just explain the website so that you can check it out later on. So these are examples of prompts, right? You can see this. If you copy this prompt and put here, it's going to give you the same kind of sound it has generated, or they use as an example. So a cheerful country song with acoustic guitar, 90s rock song with electric guitar and what? Heavy drums. A light. So you see the terms they are using are not your normal prompts from text to text or text generative text. Is quite different. They are using what? Sound-based professional terminologies when you are making what? Prompts for text to sound. When you are making any prompt from text to sound, you use what? Sound-based professional terminology. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay, I hope you can hear it. So that's a song that's been generated by just typing certain kind of text, and you have taught, by using this, you have actually taught your children. They might not know how to play an instrument. I'm not saying instrument playing is outdated, but these are digital options. These are digital options. Synchronizers, synthesizers. These are digital options. They might not know how to play an instrument, but they can use this as a way of enhancing their prompt skills, understanding how text can be generated into sound. So let's go to the third one there. Text to 3D scene. Omolola, Madam Omolola Francis, welcome to the platform. So we look at text to 3D scenes. How does it work? Generative AI can create 3D scenes from written text, allowing students to visualize their ideas. So we're looking at how scenes, 3D scenes can be created. It's different from videos. These are 3D objects or 3D world or 3D animations. Some platforms also offer pre-made 3D models and assets, right? So examples, 3D scenes can be used for gaming platforms. They can be used for making animated movies. They can be used for virtual reality scenes or virtual reality environment or augmented reality environment to be used. So like virtual museums or historical creation, or students can create their own 3D models or use pre-existing ones to flesh out their ideas in more immersive way. It can also be used for what? Creating virtual classrooms, right? Classroom, you are teaching science and you want to create a virtual classroom for that particular topic. You can use a text to 3D scene uh, henceforth. So terminologies in 3D. So you what have what some important terminology in 3D modeling include mesh. If you are used to 3D, you hear mesh, you have mesh, texturing, lighting, similar things to photo and video, but quite different. Uh, Understanding this concept can help students create realistic and interesting 3D scenes. So the platforms you can look at, you have this NVIDIA 3D Magic, Luma AI, Masterpiece Studios, Spline AI, and Blockade Labs. I've taught Blockade Labs before, but I'll just introduce it again. Blockade Labs. Blockade Labs looks like this. So this Blockade Labs, it helps you create text to what 3D scenes or 3D backgrounds or 3D world. Let me go. Okay. 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 So a 3D scene, I'm copying the prompt. So let's conjure a world. Let's conjure a world on Blockade Labs. Okay, I have read. You accept the terms and conditions and confirm. So this is your prompt, right? This is your prompt page now. So I'll paste my prompt, and you can select. Now it comes in handy to select the kind of image you want. Do you want it to be a digital painting, fantasy, radiant, enchanted, anime, surreal, sci-fi? Let's see a sci-fi. What else? Okay. Oh, it's paid for. Okay. Let's see fantasy. Maybe later. Okay. Maybe later. Okay. I'll click on generate. So you can click here to enhance the prompt. You can generate depth. You can also add negative text, and you can also download it as an image. So let's generate this. A 3D scene of a bedroom with PBR textures and global illumination. If you are into 3D, you hear of global illumination, textures, and all that terminology. So it's almost done. It's almost done. But I like the Blockade Labs. It's very fast, and it gives you the ability to rotate or to pan around the world you have created. It gives you the ability to rotate and pan around the world you have created. Okay, quickly. Still loading it. Is still loading it. Let's see what it looks like. Now, from on the left hand side, you can see it has painting object, the brush tool. It has an eraser. It has a what sphere grid. It has a what cube grid, and it also what the plane grid. So these are tools you can use to enhance your world. Okay, still creating it. You can see I can pan around. Okay. Okay. So if you want to see what you just created, you click on this image sign, right? Not the mesh sign or this grid sign. So you see what it looks like. A 3D scene of a bedroom with PBR texture and global illumination. It means the global illumination means the entire bedroom is lit with light. So it has light. So this is a 3D scene of my bedroom, and just from typing what a simple text prompt. So this is text to what 3D scenes or text to 3D objects. So you can see how interesting you can make students, or no matter how young they are, using AI tools. Any of these AI tools aside ChatGPT, they have a plate for solid kind of multimedia AI tools they can enjoy without even thinking about ChatGPT, without teachers getting scared of them finding out ChatGPT. Mind you, like I told you, students want to use ChatGPT for assignment, and that's it. They don't have any interest for research or to even generate things that they can use for their own development. They are not interested in that. They just want to submit assignments. So that is a poor use. So we should start directing them to other uses of generative AI for text to image, text to videos, text to 3D scenes, text to audio, text to sound, which give enhance their creativity and ability to create solid prompts. So we look at 3D animation terminology. We have modeling, we have animation, we have rendering, we have simulation, composition, texturing, lighting, shading, and that's it. So conclusion. Sorry, I wrote up this webinar just because of time. Okay, benefits. We look at generative AI can revolutionize visual learning by making it more accessible and immersive. Future outlook for generative multimedia AI. The technology will continue to develop and advance because these are new technologies, these are new advancements, and they are still taking shape, they are still taking form, right? Maybe in the next, before the next 5 years, we would have been having concrete usage of them in different areas and different fields. Now, next step, teachers and students should explore the various ways that generative AI can be used to supplement and enhance their lesson. Like I told you, you can actually create a lesson around these tools, and it will blow your mind what your students can do, the kind of prompts they can generate, the kind of prompts they can use